Welcome back to the podcast, guys. Today we are joined by Coral, who is the marketing director from Insites. So, welcome, Coral, to the show. Maybe you can start by telling us a little bit about yourself and Insights and what you guys do there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Jordan. It's really lovely to be here with you. So I work for a company called Insights. We're a software brand. They're sort of like the strap line is we help the folk who helps small businesses, which basically means, in a nutshell, we're a software brand who builds a platform for folk like Yellow Pages and anyone that essentially sells websites to small businesses. And we
Hmm.
create a tool that helps them help the small business by giving them insider insight into how their website's running, are they on social, what's missing in their core web vitals, and basically empowers them to be more visible online and then
Hmm.
hopefully helping small businesses grow in the process.
Okay. And is it all small businesses? Sorry, is it all like, do you have a particular niche that you feel like uses Insights and gets the best success?
So we're kind of like, we kind of go through the middleman almost. So we work
Yeah.
with like the big media companies that will sell on those website solutions. But we find that the folks that really value it are folks that are working really locally. So it tends to be like hairdressers and plumbers and local bakeries who might want to like trade in the local area but are struggling to be like first page on Google or like first listing on Google. And that's where we best help, is like help people be seen online, because there's nothing worse than when you're like a hairdresser or a plumber and you've just started up in your local area and you've got your website and you think, great, I've ticked all of those boxes. But then you look under the hood and, SEO is really bad. There's no backlinks, all of those kinds of crazy things. That's kind of how we help. So we give our customers the information so they can share it with their customers.
Right. Got it. Okay. And are there any interesting AI tools or features built into the platform?
Yeah, so we use AI a lot. So as soon as AI kind of came on the scene, we were all over it. So one of the biggies that we use is our AI proposal generator. So it will take everything it's learned. So what our platform basically does is audit any website in 60 seconds. And it gives you like a breakdown of where you're doing really well and where you need a little bit of improvement. And our AI proposal tool basically, rather than some sales rep who's probably trying to juggle many calls, many clients in a day, rather than having to go through the report and go, okay, your core web vitals aren't very good, so we need to work on those and all of those things. Click button, and it's like, here's all of your core problems. Here's how we can solve them. Send. And it's been such a game changer for our clients.
Interesting. Okay. And then so AI is like everybody's talking about AI. Everybody has some sort of AI strategy. And you said you jumped on the AI really quickly, which I think was a great move. Like, where do you feel like AI is trending towards?
So I think there was this whole thing at the beginning when AI came over and everyone's like, everyone's job is going to be lost to AI. So there was that kind
Mm.
of fear. But then the early adopters really understood that there was something in AI where we could make working life better and also like open up new revenue streams for businesses, open up different types of roles for big companies. So I think that was really impressive. And for us in our context, we always joke that we use AI as like our intern, where it's like kind of knows enough to help us do the job, but we need to edit it quite heavily, or we need to guide it in the right direction. And I think that's the biggest trend that I'm seeing, is that people are learning that if you put something into AI quite generic, it will give you a generic response. So prime example is, I've been seeing a lot on LinkedIn recently where folk are going to the same events and it will have the same like opening title. And it's like, the more generic you are and the more obvious you are with AI, more likely you're going to be sort of like hunted by the AI people on LinkedIn, for example, or online, who are
Yeah.
like, you're using AI for this. But actually, if you can build a custom GPT, if you can follow that trend, which is really starting to pick up momentum, that's when it can be really powerful for business.
Are there any AI tools that you personally use in some of your workflows that have like, increased your productivity? I mean, other than the obvious chat GPTs or a Claude or something.
Yeah, well, so we do use Claude. That's our main preferred one. But the reason being is, at Insights, we are essentially the marketing team, which I came in to sort of build about 2 years ago. For a really long time was just me, and then when AI came out, it was like this
Yeah.
amazing sort of like extra body or two that could help me create content. And now we're slowly growing that team. AI kind of fills in the gaps that we don't have. So if we need someone to like take stuff from, social listening tools and turn it into a blog that applies to our clients or like our niches, that's where we're really using AI. And we use Claude a lot, and we've been using Perplexity as well to help with some of that social listening. But
Hmm.
we tend to find that Claude is our current favorite because we have just spent so long building that GPT, and really we put everything in there. Sales calls, we put in like old blogs, new blogs, newsletters, essentially anything that we kind of have built or written
Hmm.
goes in there. And now we've got this amazing tool that we can literally say, I need this to sound like Coral, or I need this to sound like so and so. And it takes all of our little tonal intuitions, applies them to our content. And for that for us, that's been such an amazing game changer.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, when ChatGPT first came out, obviously it was a fantastic tool and it sort of changed a lot of things, but it gives you this very generic
Yeah,
response most of the time. And then I started using Claude, and I'm like, oh wow, this is really good, especially for writing copy and doing marketing. Highly recommend that. You mentioned that you sort of built this team from over the last 2 years.
yeah.
What do you think have been some of the biggest challenges you've faced at Insights in the marketing space over the last 2 years?
So Insights is like most software brands where,
Hmm.
there's that old joke of like San Francisco, you can't move in a bar for someone that doesn't have a startup. Like everyone's got a startup. There's that thing of like fundamentally software is still quite a new industry, even though it's been around for years and years and years. There's always something new to learn, and everyone is always doing something differently, which is great when you're coming into a brand and you're the only marketer and you're trying to build the basic function, and there's so much knowledge online. But then that software knowledge is often relatable to brands that are scaling to say like B2C, or like they're going out to, like let's look at like Notion, for example, is anybody that takes notes. So like great. They've got a wonderful like history and they're really open about how they've grown. But Insights is super niche. And that was always our challenge. And it was
Hmm.
trying to get a real in depth understanding of our customers, which is super niche and really complicated. And then how to market to them, and then market software as a service was a whole head spin. And I'm not going to lie, it took me probably about 6 months to get to know our customers properly and all their pain points and how our platform actually benefits them. But now that I'm in it, it's this like amazing challenge where you can really feel, I think when you're taking on a startup or a smaller brand, you can really feel like these seismic changes that you make. So
Hmm.
whenever you do like something slightly differently to before, you can really feel the ripple effect, because you get customers that literally say to you, oh, that was really handy. Your
Yeah,
sales
yeah.
team will go, no, we've actually got more leads this month. So that's been a real big challenge, but there's obviously always like a nice payoff at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And how are you approaching client acquisition then?
So our biggie is trying to hone in on LinkedIn.
Mm.
So personal branding, in my opinion, personal branding and AI are the two biggest trends at the moment for marketers, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And I think personal branding is doing a lot of what cold outreach can't do. And I don't think cold outreach is dead. I think that's horse has been flogged many, many times. But I think personal branding gives you the opportunity to bring your like human self client acquisition. But
Yeah.
obviously marketing needs to have a massive play in that, because most folk don't really want to do it or don't really understand like how it works or the benefit of it. So that's one of the things that we've been really playing around with client acquisition, and it's massively helped, so that when you're looking at that full breadth customer journey, sure, you have like your newsletters and you might have your ABM campaigns. But if you can add in personal branding as well, we found that that's massively helped, because people will start to engage with the people that they're getting cold outreach from, or they'll start to recognize that that person who's, in their newsletter inbox also is a real person online. And it kind of warms up that client acquisition process, so that when the lead does come through, for us, we've seen that it's less kind of like, well, I've, come through because I found you online. It's kind of like, well, I saw you online and then I saw you on LinkedIn and then I've reached out. So I think that's been a real game changer for us.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good insight, and I found the same thing myself. Like we even chatted a little bit before this call. Like, how did when I reached out to you, it was cold, but there's also some like this. My face online. If you Google me, I come up. I've got a small YouTube channel. I've been making content for a little bit, so I look like a real human being because I am. And then you can get to know me before you actually get to on the phone and speak to me. And I found a lot of people have done their research about me before they've come on, and they said, hey, I saw that video, really liked it, la la la. And somebody the other day said something really interesting. It's like you could be sitting out there in the audience and thinking, oh, I don't want a personal brand, but the bad news is that you already have a personal brand, and it's your like two followers on LinkedIn and your faceless Instagram, and when people Google you, that is your personal brand. So if you aren't populating it with the things that you want people to see, then they're never going to see it and they're never going to trust you, especially not in 2025 when there's so much noise and so much AI slop out there. So yeah, that's really good insight, Carl. I appreciate that. So then, what are like growth initiatives over the next year or so for Insights?
So we're really honing in on product. So our product and dev team are phenomenal. I don't think I've ever worked with such a sort of innovative team, but also that works at such a like pace. So all of our growth initiatives are just to really empower and bolster our product suite. So Insights is the brand, if you will, but then we have products underneath it. So we've got bulk insights, which basically is we can enrich 200 data points across 10,000 URLs. Then we have Insights for Marketers, which is a lead generation tool. We have Insights for Sales, which is our real key product, which is that auditing tool part of it. And we have Insights for Website Builders. So that's all about QA. So if you're a website builder or you're managing a website building team, our tool will basically track the improvements they've made and who's outperforming each other and what they're doing differently to other folks. So it's a full suite with 4 different products in, but we're trying to bolster all of those and really create more of a sort of red thread through them all. So our growth initiative is all about empowering them as individual products that they can work more cohesively as a full suite. They work amazingly as a full suite anyway, but now we're really rolling out things, especially things that have been requested by our customers. So I might be shocked by my product manager for mentioning this, but we're going to be releasing keyword research as part of our tool soon, and that has been asked for years. Super exciting growth initiative there.
Okay, very nice. And is there? Do I understand correctly that they are like an all-in-one tool? Like you can use all the tools in one. You got access to the platform, or can you sort of pick and choose a la carte?
Yeah, you can pick and choose a la carte. So we have some customers that will start with like Insights for Sales and then slowly
Yeah,
build on Insights for Marketers.
right.
And then they'll add on like Insights for Website Builders. And then we've got other customers who are like, I just want everything. Just
Mm-hmm.
and we've got an amazing customer success team who will guide customers through that. But it's yeah, we try and tailor it a lot to what our customers need and what they want. And often our team will come in and go, okay, let's just start off with here, or go, actually, no, you need all of this. So we try and be sort of reactive to what our customers need.
Mhm. And do you feel like you have what I like to call a Big Mac offer? So you've got like 80% of people gravitate towards the, this tool or this feature or
Yeah, definitely. We're very Big Mac. So Insights started off as the Insights for Sales, Insights for Sales product. Then Insights for Marketers, Insights for Website Builders, Insights Bulk all came afterwards because Insights has really been quite organic in its growth. So we've always been client led in our sort of production. So if a client said, oh, I really fancy this, and enough clients said it, would go, okay, then we'll do that. And that's how those other products sort of organically grew. Hence why it's gone from just being Insights the product to 4 different ones. But we would say definitely that Insights for Sales is the most popular. It's the one that we get most of the leads from.
Okay, nice. And then let's say that you could go back and you could start your journey with Insights again. Are there any things that you would change or you might do differently now that you have the gift of hindsight?
Yeah, I think we looked at pricing and value proposition, like what felt like for the first year. And I think we sort of really tried to be broad, and now we've scaled it back again. And I think actually scaling it back again was the right thing to do because our product is amazing, but it's almost too much for some like smaller consumers. So we're kind of like complementary to SEMrush for some brands, but then we're also too big for other brands. And we kind of like we're trying to position ourselves as this halfway house, but the reality is we're almost like a completely separate product. And Insights works really well alongside your SEMrushes and your RFs rather than in competition with them. And I think that would be my biggest learning if I was to do it all again, is to just really focus on our niche. And if we ever want to go out to smaller companies or go direct to SMBs, let's, rather than shoehorn the product or like square peg it into a round hole, create a different product that might work for that audience. But since we've really like refocused on our sort of niche and just accepted that we might not have the biggest slice of the pie, but the little slice we do have, we work really well with. If we could have focused on that from the beginning, I think we would be a bit further along in our growth. But I think a lot of marketers would say that is like, we tried this, didn't work very well, tried this is working better, we'll stick down that lane.
Yeah, but that's a really good insight there as well, because I find focus is something that a lot of businesses lack, and they always feel like they're leaving money on the table if they don't go and capture that market. But the reality is that you're always going to be leaving money on the table. And focus is the most high leverage thing that you can do as a founder in a business, because you can't solve everyone's problems all the time and be the solution to everybody. So focus is a really powerful productivity hack and revenue driver. So yeah, that's fantastic insight there
Yeah.
as well.
I really agree with you. I think focus is really valuable. And I think as marketers, I think it's really easy to magpie. And what I mean by that is like just focus on the shiny things and collect
Yeah.
them all. And I think you're right. Like if you can, as a marketer, focus in rather than get excited about like, what if we did this? What if we did that? Actually, fundamentally, if you can just hone in on this is where we add value, these are the people we add value to, let's market to those and then grow. That's always a better initiative. And it kind of comes back to what I was saying with it's really easy as a SaaS marketer to look at other brands and try
Mhm.
and like fit what Notion does or what HubSpot does to what Insights does. But fundamentally, we're different types of products with different service models. And I think it's that learning that was massively important to us last year and why everything we do this year is ever so slightly different, but it's having much bigger impact.
Nice. Good to hear that. Cool. So I guess then wrapping up, Coral, like a question that I really like to ask because I'm always surprised at some of the answers that I get. So let's say that you had a magic wand that you could wave over a big problem right now. You could solve it like that. What would that big problem be at Insights? Not world hunger or world peace, but
Well, I think I would imagine most sort of growing SaaS brands would say this, but brand awareness is it's that like elusive, like white smoke that you can never seem to catch. And I think it's one of those things I've always felt like there's so much in marketing that it's like the snowball effect, but I find brand awareness is always an avalanche. You will just hit the right point at the right time, and then suddenly everyone knows that brand. Or at least it feels like that on the outside. But yeah, brand awareness for us is really tough because our customer base is so niche and trying to find them is even harder. So like with most brands, you would say like the people we want to speak to are like CFOs or COOs. But for us, it could be the CMO, could be the COO, it could be the CFO, it could also be the marketing manager who reports into the CMO. So our approach to brand awareness is really tricky and we're trying to really nail that through like personal branding
Mhm.
and like just doing really initiative things through like email campaigns and ABM campaigns. But yeah, if I could wave a magic wand, Insights would be a home known name in the software world. I feel like we're a little way off, but I feel like we're going to get there. It's just the strategy to get there is forming. But one day, yeah, I'd like that magic wand to be waved.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, look, I really appreciate the time and the insights today. I think you touched on some really interesting things that I've not heard people talk about before, which I completely agree with. So appreciate all of that. If people want to connect with you, or maybe they want to check out Insights, like where can they go? How can they connect?
Sure. Best place to find me is LinkedIn. I'm always talking about marketing and strategy over there. And Insights, you can find us at insights.com.
Perfect. And I'll make sure to leave the links in the description. So I highly encourage everybody to go check out Insights and connect with Coral. She's got some amazing stuff, and the newsletter looks really exciting as well. So thank you again, Coral, for the time. I know it's really early on your end, so I appreciate you hopping on today. And thank you guys so very much for watching. We will see you in the next episode.